So, since there hasn't really been any releases for a while, I held a little poll on my channel to help decide what videos I should be making while we wait for grand creators. And the winner was a Traptrix deck profile. You're sure? My last two videos haven't exactly done too well.
Can I have some more?
But hey, the people have spoken, and who am I to question that? However, if you've watched my videos on Traptrix tech and the one about the trap holes, you basically already know how to make a Traptrix deck. At this point, making one for you would be redundant since you have all of the tools to make a good one for yourself. So instead, I decided to be a little bit more creative, and we all know that Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck building loves to reward creativity. Anyway, so instead of making another basic Traptrix deck, today I'll be showing you a sort of conceptual deck. A deck that asks, what if Traptrix were a combo deck? You see, half of them are plants, and plants have been getting better and better over the last 2 years, to the point where they've actually gained enough tools to be a force to be reckoned with. Usually people use that support to make a Sunavalon deck that also just throws in every good piece of plant support, but what if we instead try to make it work with Traptrix? So the concept behind this deck is to use the power of Sunseed Sowing to do all the usual silly plant stuff, using 2 Jasmines to search a Traptrix Versiculo and Dionea, ending on a board with Bengalancer, Sera and Rafflesia. Like I said before, it's more of a showcase of what is potentially possible, rather than a deck that I'm actually saying that you should go out there and use. But if you're getting bored of regular Traptrix and want to mess around with a new build for a bit, this is a deck profile for you. With that said, let's look at the deck list. Here it is. So your first impression might be that the deck looks a little bit messy. This is because the plant engine needs a few one-offs to make it work better, but you also need to run enough traps to make the Traptrix side of it worth it. As usual, I will be explaining my ratios, so just bear with me for a bit. First off, the Traptrix monsters. 3 Dionea, 3 Murmileo, 2 Versiculo, 1 Mantis, 1 Genlycia, and 1 Nepenthes. These aren't exactly the regular Traptrix ratios, especially the only 1 Mantis, but it's because you need to be running more of the plant Traptrixes and less of the insect ones in order to get the most out of the plant engine, especially the extra normal summon from Jasmine. Versiculo, followed by a Dionea to revive it, will be your main play after doing the plant combos, but the others, especially Murmileo, can be good summons off of Sera. We then run 3 Sunseed Genius Loki and 2 Sunseed Twin. Loki is, of course, the way to get started with the whole plant engine, although it is much better to use it off of Unexpected Die or 1-for-1. You can still do some cool stuff even if you need to normal summon it though, which I will be showing in the combos section. Twins is a 2-of since it really sucks to draw your only copy of it and then be unable to summon it off of Sowing, but if you're feeling brave, you can replace the second one with any trap of your choice. Aramage's Jasmine and Laurel are summons off of the Link 2 Jasmine's effect. Laurel for if you still have your normal summon, and Jasmine for if you don't, but do have a plant Traptrix in hand. Parallel Exceed makes it easier for you to end on a good board. Even if your starting hand wasn't that good, it's extremely unlikely that you won't at least be able to make a Link 1, so you can then make a Rafflesia. Unexpected Die and 1-for-1 allow you to get a Loki on board without using your normal summon, so you hope to draw these as often as possible. Sowing is your search off of the Link 1, and if you've seen any Sunavalon deck profiles, including my own, you know just how strong it is. Next are our traps. For our trap holes, we run 3 Gravediggers Trap Hole, 1 Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, and 1 Floodgate Trap Hole. These ratios are quite flexible, so if you want to swap any of them for a Bottomless Trap Hole, for example, that's fine. We then run 3 Imperm, since it's a hand trap that's also a trap, so it has better synergy with this deck. Then we have 2 Torrential Tribute, since it's a field wipe that most of your board will be immune to. You can also use it after Bengalancer returns something to the hand, since even if it gets destroyed, it'll be able to summon itself back on your turn fairly easily. Shade Brigandine is there since it, plus any Traptrix, is a fairly good hand, so it felt wrong to pass up on it. And then Bloom is here for the Sunavalon Link 4. You can use it for its intended purpose, or just as an emergency way to guarantee having a trap in hand to use for Versiculo's effect. As for the extra deck, it's basically half of a regular Traptrix deck, and then half of a Sunavalon deck. We're mostly running the plants, since you get locked out of the rest fairly quickly, but Abyss Dweller and Redoer are still powerful options if you have a Parallel Exceed or a Shade Brigandine. Same as Alomeris, it's an insect so you can't always make it, but it does have some niche applications with stuff like Torrential Tribute, or its ability to revive a plant. The rest of the deck is fairly normal and self-explanatory. Rafflesia, one of the 2 Link 4s, and a Sera are your usual end board, but sometimes you can also make a Cularia. The rest are part of your main combo, whether you can replace a second healer with a second Melius, or cut the last 2 cards entirely for whatever else you want, since they're mostly for improvised combos rather than your standard combo lines. Finally, I just wanted to mention Angelica. She can be a powerful extender, sometimes able to trigger both main deck and extra deck Jasmine at once while also being an extender, but those situations are just a bit too few and far between, and this deck is already running enough tricks for my liking, so I decided to leave it out. So now let's see what kind of combos this deck is capable of. But first, if you've been enjoying the video so far, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks! So for this first combo, I wanted to show you what you can do as Unexpected Die, or 1 for 1 in a discard, and then any trap. First, summon Loki with Unexpected Die, and then link it into a Dryas. That will search your Sowing. Then summon Twin with Sowing, which will trigger both itself and Dryas' effect thanks to the burn. Summon a Healer from Dryas, and a Loki from Twins, and then heal yourself. With your 2 links, make a Jasmine, who tributes a card to summon a Laurel. Then use Laurel and Loki to make a second Jasmine. Laurel heals you, triggering both Jasmines, allowing you to search a Dionea and a Vesicule. Make a Bengalancer, and then set your trap to then send it to the graveyard for Vesicule's summon. Use her to make a Sera, and then use your normal summon to make a Dionea, bringing back Vesicule. Dionea triggers Sera to set a trap hole, and then you're free to make a Rafflesia with your 2 level 4s. You now have a fairly standard Traptrix board with the addition of Bengalancer for an extra bounce. But what if you don't have any traps to set? Well, in an emergency, you can instead make the Sunavalon Link 4 who searches a trap. You can then send that instead, ending on the same board but without Bengalancer's bounce. When your turn rolls around again, you can at least use its effect to tribute something in order to destroy some cards. Now for the test hands. Here we start with 1 for 1, discarding a Murmileo since our normal summon will be used elsewhere. You then start doing the same plant combo as last time, except that you make a Rafflesia thanks to Parallel Exceed, protecting your combo from an Ibiru. After making your first Jasmine, you can then just use Laurel's effect to summon itself since we already had it in our hand. When Laurel triggers both Jasmines, we can search a main deck Jasmine and a Dionea this time. You then tribute for Vesicule, setting up a recovery play before making a Bengalancer and using Jasmine's extra normal summon on a Dionea. She'll summon back a Traptrix, letting you make a Cularia with Jasmine and then a Sera. In the end phase, Cularia brings back a Dionea, triggering Sera and searching another trap hole. So what happens if you need to normal summon a Loki? Well, if you do, start doing the usual plant combo, up to the part where you'd usually tribute for a Laurel. Instead, if you have a plant Traptrix in hand, you can tribute for a Jasmine, who will then let you summon that Traptrix. After that, make a Bengalancer with your remaining monsters before making a Sera with the Traptrix you summoned. From there on, just try to extend as much as possible. For example here, a Shade Brigandine allows you to get another rank 4 on board while searching a trap hole. Despite needing to normal summon a Loki, this hand was still able to end on a very respectable 5 interruptions, as well as a Sera to gain more resources during your opponent's turn. Finally, this last combo shows that sometimes, to avoid the plant lock, you need to use your extenders in ways that you might not expect. In this hand, you'll already be able to make a Sera and a Rafflesia, so you turn your Parallel Exceed into an Alomeris to make even better use of the Torrential Tribute. After searching a Dionea and a Vesicule with the 2 Jasmines, you can then just send the Shade Brigandines for Vesicule's effect. It's too late to make a redoer with it anyway, and we'll be making Rafflesia with our normal summon, so it's no big loss. From there on, just build your regular board, making a Bengalancer, a Sera and a Rafflesia before setting everything you have. You'll be able to bounce something with Bengalancer, before using Torrential Tribute to wipe the board, and then stealing a destroyed monster with Zalimeris. You can then just summon back Bengalancer by banishing both of the Jasmine Link 2s, meaning you'll have a pretty strong board by next turn as well. So, what did you think? Is this deck just a silly idea, or is there enough potential here for you to want to give it a try? Tell me down in the comments, and while you're there, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching!